everybody, Pastor Randy here. Welcome back to Making It Simple. And we're going to jump back into our lesson today, the reality of evil. What is this? We're going to look at some important things today. We talked about last time what the word means. It means something wicked, depraved, or harmful. But we're going to break those down as well, and if we can get to that part, because this lesson is not one that we're going to be in a hurry with. Because, we're so quick in the world today, and especially, and again, I don't ever mean to necessarily come across as any kind of way of harsh toward the church, but sometimes it needs to be. But especially within that confines, to put a label on everything. As I told you in the first video, there's one guy that says it's wicked to have a facial hair or all these different things. What does it mean? And why is the writer here giving us an indication that it's a much bigger issue than just the boogeyman? We turn to our text today. We're looking at Romans 12:21. Again, this is applicable to every single person, believer and non-believer, because it impacts life inside faith and outside. Because when we understand what this word means and why this command, if you will, this warning of do not be conquered by evil, but conquer evil with good. Well, what does that mean? We're going to talk about that extensively right here and Making It Simple, the reality of evil. We left off talking about this beginning part of this verse, do not be. We have to stop right there because the writer is sharing something that, well, it sounds like a warning. It sounds like words of caution. It sounds like words of reflection that appear to be some type of command. Do not be. But these are words of reality because they're pointing us towards something that is going to create an issue in our life when we understand what it actually means rather than what we've created, rather than what we've determined in our own opinion. What the writer here is telling us is do not be, because what this is going to happen, this conquering of this evil, it is something that is not good. It is something that, as the definition of the word says, will cause harm. The writer says, do not be conquered. Now that's an important word as well, because here we see, wait a minute, this is a valid warning. This is an instruction, a direction. This is advice. But this is also what I'd like to call a pause moment. Because what the writer here is trying to get us to understand is, wait a minute, whatever this is that I am not to do not be, well, surely it can't be good if it can conquer me. That's a big word. That's a powerful word. That is a word that we should be mindful of, because the word conquer, well, it simply means break it all down. It simply means to overcome. So let's put this together for just a moment. Let's think for just a moment, okay? The word evil, wicked, depraved, harmful. The word conquer, overcome. Do not be conquered. In other words, what the writer here is telling us is, wait a minute, this is possible. This could happen. Do not be conquered, meaning that it is there. The possibility, it could happen. It is real. Do not be conquered. Well, wait a minute. When we hear that word as described in kind of the picture painted in the world, we think of what? Wars and generals and tanks. They conquered whatever. But do not be conquered by evil. Wait a minute. Conquered by evil? This requires us to go back and understand what this word means. Because again, when we think of evil, we immediately conjure an image. We just do. It's been passed down since our childhood. And if you've ever gone into the realm of spiritual things, the church, whatever the case, again, that's an entirely different conversation because so many different things have been labeled as such, but they've all been created in some type of over-the-top imagery of something that is, horrifying. And so again, we see a monster, hear about the devil or a demon, some kind of scary notion, oh, that's evil, that's this. Let's go back to the word, because this is important as to why this warning of possibly the opportunity of being conquered by evil. Naturally, if we think of some type of creature or monster or something that is much larger than us or more powerful than us, the idea of that conquering me, well, we see that as a possibility because it may be stronger than me. But let's be honest. How often in this life does that ever really happen? Let's just be real. How often in this life does that ever really happen, that you interact with a monster? It does happen, don't get me wrong, but that's not what this is about. Let's look at the word again. Let's go back to the word evil. Something wicked, something depraved, something that is harmful. It's important that we look at those words to define the combination of those words to create evil. Let's look at depraved. Let's look at wicked. Wicked means something that is mean, something that is troublesome, something that is mischievous, something that has bad intent, something that is deliberate. In other words, it's on purpose. What does that mean? I know it will hurt. I know it will cause issues. I know it will be awful. And I'm going to do it anyhow. Wait a minute, Pastor. You mean that those type of things are evil? Yeah. It gets more. Depraved. This means something that is corrupt. That opens a whole entirely different door. It means something that is perverted. That's a whole nother door. In other words, I know better, but I don't care. I'm going to do it anyhow. Something that is harmful. The end result of whatever it is that is chosen to do, it is going to hurt someone. Whether it's physically, emotionally, financially, somebody's going to get hurt. And again, it is with no regard, no concern, no care, no regret, no remorse, because I want it my way no matter what. Those three things, my friends, are the components that make up the one word, evil. So if you're listening, and I really, really hope with all my heart that you are, this causes an immediate stop, an immediate wait a minute. Because so often it is easy to paint an ugly picture of a grotesque monster or some type of sinister criminal. But then we hear the definition and we think, wait a minute. Evil is much deeper than that. Evil is much broader than that. Evil is much more involved It's easy to turn to the headlines. Very easy. I hear about murders and bombings and child abuse and assault crimes and violent crimes. And we label that as evil because of the shock value, because of the emotional struggle of those that bring these type of things. And the process of being conquered by them seems pretty simple because of the fear that they invoke. However, when we look at what it means, we see something else completely different in addition to all of that makes the understanding of how it could conquer us a whole lot simpler. And that's exactly what we do right here at Making It Simple. We break it down and look at it so that we have something to think about, so that we have something to grow into something better. God bless you. Lord willing, I'll be back with you again for the next lesson and the next time we get back together right here at Making It Simple.